So, as we know, the Batley and Spen by-election is coming up, and of course this is yet going to be another massive test for Keir Starmer. Like I say, the pigeons are already fluttering about the coop, worried about if they lost Hartlepool, could they also lose Batley and Spen? And like I say, who knows what will happen. If Starmer loses this, then this really shows that the Blairites, who, quote, took back their party, took it back for what? They have power, but with no purpose. And unless they actually start to engage with the membership and other areas of Labour, then we can probably forget about actually ever attaining power for quite some time to come. And that is a very, very serious concern, because we do not want a continuous stream of conservative governments of committing absolutely not only just economic damage through Brexit, but social damage and wreaking who knows what other damage they could wreak if they manage to get yet another 15 years in power. Like I say, who knows? We could be looking back at the Cameron years of austerity thinking, my, what days of plenty they were, when we look here now and we're like on super austerity. These are the things that unfortunately we have to worry about. So today we're going to look over a bit of an interview and a question and answer session that they did with the Rejoin EU candidate in Batley and Spen. So before we jump into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you to everyone who does support the channel that way. So, on with the article. And this comes from the London Economic. The title is, Starmer thinks that not being a Tory and ignoring Brexit will get him elected, says the Rejoin EU candidate. So, Rejoin EU's candidate in Batley and Spen by-election has promised to make people's voices heard, whilst criticising Labour for letting the Tories off the hook. Andrew Smith's Andrew Smith's candidacy for the constituency in West Yorkshire comes after Labour MP Tracy Barban stepped down, triggering the July the 1st election. Smith has said, Brexit has not delivered the benefits promised to the people of Batley and Spen. Labour, under the leadership of Keir Starmer, are letting this corrupt Tory government hand out billions of pounds of taxpayer money to their Brexit-supporting cronies. He added that Keir Starmer is failing to provide a vision for the future which resonates with the voters. He thinks that not being a Tory and ignoring Brexit is sufficient to get him elected. But Brexit has driven a massive wedge through the country, and that wedge may even lead to the UK being split up. It is not good enough for Starmer to ignore the views of the majority of people in his party who know that Brexit was a mistake. I hope that my candidacy can help show that across the country in both Remain voting and Leave voting areas there are people frustrated with that their voices and concern for the future of the country are being ignored. Brexit is broken and it is breaking Britain. Smith is Rejoin EU's latest candidate, following their success in the London mayoral and assembly elections, and their decision to run in the Chesham and Amersham as well. He became active in politics as he became disillusioned with the main political parties, trying to sweep Brexit under the carpet. As a son of a Yorkshireman and with a family living in Leeds, I know that the stereotypical view of Remainers and Brexit is wrong, he said. He added, in Batley and Spen, 40% of people voted to remain, yet no one is prepared to talk about them, let alone represent their views. Smith spent some of his childhood living in Bradford and has a degree in environmental sciences and is a qualified accountant. He was the finance director of a leading insurance company before becoming chief executive of one of the largest pension schemes in the country. He is now a pension scheme trustee, which he combines with political activity for Rejoin EU. Richard Houghton, the leader of Rejoin EU, said, "We are delighted to be able to stand a candidate in Batley and Spen, which was promised so much by Brexit, which can now see that it is delivering nothing. This election should be seen as a judgment on Keir Starmer's leadership and his stance which he has taken on Brexit. Rejoin EU is the only party which wholeheartedly advocates for rejoining the EU. The outcome of this by-election cannot change the Conservative majority in Westminster. It is, however, an opportunity for those people who recognise that the country has been subjected to the biggest con in recent political history to support the Rejoin EU party and a candidate who will campaign unambiguously for a brighter, wealthier, safer and more sustainable and more influential future in Europe. So, ultimately, I think they probably do stand quite a good chance. Like I say, if 40% of people in Batley and Spen turn out to vote for him, based on that alone, yeah, they stand an absolutely corker of a chance of actually probably coming maybe in first, maybe even in second, again, if that can actually play out, obviously, in this. And of course, as he was right to say, this isn't really going to change the Conservative majority in Parliament. But this is more being seen as, once again, a decision on Starmer's leadership. And like I say, Starmer at the moment made, I think, the absolutely ridiculous position, because this is so bad. He put the sister of Jo Cox in. And while I say good on her for standing, I think this looks very, very bad for Labour. Because it's a very damned if they do, damned if they don't position. Because if they do win, here's what will happen. Oh, the only reason they won because she was Jo Cox's sister, etc., etc., etc. That's the only reason they won. So, not, again, the biggest ringing endorsement of this position. Now, should Starmer lose, then we will put in the very uncomfortable position of essentially not only other people in everyone, all his critics, especially the Conservatives, can point to Starmer and go, ha 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 ha, see, you can't even win when you put the sister of Jo Cox in. That is not going to be a very good look for Starmer. And like I say, I think good on her for standing, but politically and optics wise, it does not seem to be a very, very good move. I think that there should have been certainly a bigger net cast to try and find someone local who could stand. But I do not think it was a very good idea. And like I say, you will see one of those two things happen depending on which way this election goes. And like I say, you've now got parties like Rejoin EU who are going to essentially attempt what UKIP did in the past of try and pull a significant number of votes their way to essentially try and force one of the big major parties to, well, essentially reignite the referendum. And like I say, while it is absolutely right and a way to do this, I say to them again, the best way to actually do this and to fight for this is to actually join the Labour Party and push for it from it within. It is the only way that we can do it. Like I say, I'm on the left. I want more left and progressive policies, and I want Labour to push for them. That's why I joined the Labour Party, because as an activist in the Labour Party, I can do that. I can help influence those decisions. And that is the only way you can actually do it. I've said it before hundreds of thousands of times, and again, my audience know this. You can get more done with your foot in the door than you can 2 feet outside it. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and comment buttons. I almost forgot its name. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for supporting me that way. And of course, we'll see you all next time.